Okay, hello again everybody. Today we got something new for you, a little different. Okay, now, we all recognize these, right? We all got some of these kicking around, or most of us go camping. We use them for all kinds of things now. Propane lanterns, and stoves, and catalytic heaters, and portable barbecues, but they were originally made for this attachment. The good old propane blowtorch, based on a older kind of blowtorch that was liquid gas that you pumped up like a Coleman stove. But this is really what they were for, and for plumbing, to solder lead. Now, most of you who have these have one of these kicking around somewhere. Hardly ever use it anymore. I've had this one for decades. So I'm going to show you how to repurpose this baby so you'll use it a little more. I'm going to make a hot dog oven, hot dog and kebab oven out of it. And what you need first of all is a tomato juice can like this. Now, tomato juice cans are the best cans to use for these kinds of things, or for anything, because they're made out of a better quality steel because of the acid in the tomatoes. They're good hard steel. And you need that, and you need a couple screws and washers, or I mean a couple little bolts with washers and nuts. Okay, so when you're draining this thing, you notice that when you're emptying the can, keep the air hole and the port hole in the same half of it. And what you want to do ideally is locate the seam in the can, and then put your two drain holes in the top half above that. Okay, so now I've done the layout on this. All you need for layout is a little finishing nail, a ruler, and a marker of some kind. Now, the first thing you do for layout is, one pair of pliers. This is all you need for tools, by the way. The first thing you do for layout is eyeball your best center for the center of the can. Now I've got some stuff I've already done here, but the center of the can right there, and like this, just give it make a little dimple, and do that on both sides. Okay, now from that little dimple, you run a line from the seam, that's the center. You run a line from the seam to that little dent you made in the middle, that little punch hole. And then from there, you go at right angles to that line, and you draw a line across the can. The little dent helps you do that. Anytime you include that point in the line, you're cutting the can, the circle in half. So you do that for layout, and you do that, and the same thing on the back, make that T. Now for the back, all you gotta do is just eyeball a couple spots there. You'll see that's for the inlet for the torch heat, for the flame from the heat. So, okay, so you do that, and then after that, you make, along that line, halfway out to the side, you make another little dimple, so you got three little starts at the bottom. And then, once you get those started, where's the finishing nail? Should be here somewhere. Okay, so you get all that laid out. You make little dents, 3 there. Oh, and 45 degrees at the front. This is the back side, the one where you did this, and the 2 holes that you eyeballed. And there's 3 sizes of holes here. One's where punch the nails hole right through, and that's all the way up. So on the front side here, you do 2 more lines, 45 degrees, split the angle, split the difference, and you go down to the side and mark those somewhere. And those are for the little legs that keep it from rolling that you're going to put in. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make the hole bigger. Start the hole and make the hole bigger. So you take your finishing nail, and you ram it all the way through. Then you get a screw slightly bigger, and you start it. And so you do that. You can also make round these holes out a little wider with a screwdriver like this. You want to do that, round them out so they're a little neater. Okay, or some other screwdriver, but round them out a little bit. And so you do that. Now there's 3 sizes of holes on here. There's the two that are just this punch nail, and then all the rest of them, the ones on the back, the 3 are all this size of screw. These 3 for the 2 for the legs are the same size of screw. Round them out a little bit, and then on the front, these 3 holes, you want to make them a little bigger, and you'll see why in a bit. Okay, so I've found this biggest. This is why I got the pliers, is to start this baby. There we go, starting now. Now we'll take this, the screwdriver, and round that out a bit more. We don't want to go that deep. Okay, so now we've got 3 sizes of holes. 3 at the back here that are the size of this screw, and those are actually just big enough for skewers to go through. That's what you want these for. These are just starter holes for cutting, made with a nail. And then we got our 2 that are this size. And then at the front we got 3 big ones. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to cut everything out. We'll start with the back, and all you need for this is a good wide butcher knife. And all you got to cut at the back here is, I'll show you how to do this. Cut straight out. The edge of the can. Okay, that's the cutting for the back, the knife. Oh, I forgot something. There's a little screw, get a starter hole here. And a starter hole here. So now we'll cut out the front. Try to go along your dividing line. Cut out the front the same way. To the cutting hole, start and cut hole at the edge. Same thing here. And you want to try and split the middle of the big holes as best as you can. Okay, that's it for knife work. Now you take a can opener. Start there. Cut the top half off the front. And that's that for cutting there. You go to the back. Cut the bottom open for the flame gate. And that you just push in. Yeah, so it's not quite vertical, but a little bit of an angle, if you can see that in there. Just push it in for a bit of an angle. So that's the back side finished. The front side here is a little treacherous, you gotta be careful. Clean it up a bit. Use some wire cutters for that. A little burr here I want to take off. pliers isn't cooperating. There. Don't leave that. Okay, so that's that. Now, you want to put the legs on. These holes in the front. This can be a little tricky and treacherous. So we need a different pair of pliers. Okay, you can needle those pliers so you don't cut your hand. And stick that through there. Now if you're careful, you can hold the head of the screw with one finger. See how that sticks out. They don't have to be very big bolts. They're not holding a lot of weight. Careful not to cut yourself. If you're squeamish, you can wear gloves. But I'm fairly good at all this stuff, so. Okay, and then you take a pair of pliers. Tighten up, holding with your finger. You just gotta hold the screw head with a bit of friction. And then it'll be all that tight. Okay. And that keeps the can from rolling. I could have used screws a little longer. Oh well, gonna close the angle up a bit. Maybe we'll cheat a bit here. We'll cheat a bit. There's a bit too much of a gap. See, it's rolling by just a shade. So I'm gonna cheat a bit here by bending these in. So they, as if I put them in at a narrow angle. There we go. So now it doesn't roll. And that's it for the oven part.